Hello, everybody. This is Kody Bateman. Welcome to a brand new version of our relationship marketing podcast. Very excited, as usual, to have a special and unique guest on with us today. We have unique guests every week. We've featured people from all different types of industries. We certainly have a very unique one for you today, and we're very excited. We're going to get started with that in just a second. I just want to do a quick shout out to all of our viewers, all of those who listen in and refer this show to other people. We're growing very rapidly. Thank you very much. There's a special message on this show. We're simply trying to help people be kind to each other. That's really what the show is about. You know, it is about relationship marketing and how you can gain return on your investment by establishing genuine relationships in your business. How you can generate referral business. And I know that's why most of you tune into this, so that you can kind of learn tidbits and learn it for your marketing arsenal. But one of the things we always emphasize on this show, and it's really, really important, is relationship marketing is about the first word, not the second word. It's about relationships, creating genuine relationships. And the marketing part just kind of takes care of itself. We feature that in stories. We show all kinds of ways that people have completely turned their businesses around by implementing genuine relationship building. And there's lots of ways to do that. So without further ado, we're going to jump into a special show today. All of you in the talent agency business, we've got a special treat for you today. And I'll tell you, I'm anxious for this because I really want to learn more about the talent agency industry and kind of how it works. We have one of the best with us today. This is Kathleens McEntee. She goes by Kat. Kat, welcome to our show today.
Thank you, Kody. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Well, we're excited to have you. And I'll tell you, those who watch this on YouTube, you'll see that Kat has a little thing behind her, which is the logo of her company. Her talent agency is Catalyst. 13 years. She's founder and owner of a talent agency known as Catalyst. And I just want to real quickly just feature a little bit about you so people know who they're listening to and you know what your background is. Again, she's owned Catalyst for 13 years. She represents actors and models from all around the country. She's known for finding and developing some of the best kid talent in the industry, which I find, I'm going to ask you questions about working with the kids. This is great. Kids such as Sierra Bravo, who was on the Nickelodeon's Big Time Rush. She's now starring in the new YouTube series called Wayne, which has over 17 million views. We could go on and about some of the talent that she has placed over the years. She currently places talent with top LA agencies, booked people on national commercials, film and television series, and national Broadway tours. She booked mixed martial arts star Rich Franklin in a lead in a feature film by Cyborg Soldier with Tiffany Thiessen. Worked a young actor in the national Broadway tour of Motown the Musical. And I could go on and on and on, but I just wanted to give you kind of a glimpse. I wanted people to hear kind of a glimpse of your background and who you do work with and that kind of thing. So again, Kat, welcome to our show. Let's start out. Let's get you talking. Let's start out. What got you into the talent agency business in the first place? How did that all start for you?
Well, years ago, I actually did it myself. Sally Field directed me in a movie of the week called The Christmas Tree. And I lived out in LA for 5 years, but decided to come home. And I wanted to help other people live the dream and figure out how to make it in the bigger markets and not quite have such a hard time.
Now, you've got quite a history of being in theater. You've New York City kind of stuff, and you're back. Let's see, you have a degree from Notre Dame Academy. Is that right?
Oh, Northern Kentucky University.
I'm sorry.
Notre Dame is my high school.
Okay, Northern Kentucky University, but your background really is theater and acting. So you've got a long and distinguished resume as far as being a student of acting, being an actor, and representing actors over all of these years. So it's going to be fun to kind of learn from you today. So yeah, let's talk. You know, it seems to me, based on what I've read about your company, is that you really do focus a lot on kids, on kid talent, on children talent. Is that primarily what you focus on, or?
It has become. I didn't start out that way. I do have talent of all ages, but kids are definitely where my niche is, where I'm able to do the most and create the most opportunities.
So how do you find talent? What like?
I scouted a couple different events throughout the year, and then folks can also just go to my website and submit a video audition, and we look at everything that comes in. So, and I rep folks all over the country.
You hear these stories about walking with your kids in the park and somebody walks up with a card saying, "Hey, your kid's good looking, come check out our talent agency." I mean, you see that in movies and stuff. Do people do that? I mean, is that?
Some people do. I always feel a little creepy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that. I would be off put by it. I've done it every once in a while if somebody has just that look, where I'm like, okay, here's my card, do your homework on me first, and then reach out if it's something you're interested in.
So what is that look? I mean, what is
it's actually a lot of a personality. More is seeing how engaging a kid is and how charismatic they
now,
are.
of course, parents and grandparents, they think their kids are the most talented in the world. So you probably you probably get a lot of, "Hey, I've got the perfect kid for you."
I do get that a lot, yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's a lot of times where you have to kindly say, "Well, he's a sweetheart," but I mean, I don't know. How do you deal with that? I mean,
well, sometimes you'll have parents come in and you can see that the parent wants it more than the kid.
right.
And it's such a tough industry, which is why building relationships is so important. That I have told some parents before, I don't think Johnny really wants to do this.
Right.
They then assure me that he does, but Johnny looked pretty bored when he was talking to me.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I'm sure all of our listeners are interested to find out, your job is not only to find talent, but then you got to place talent. And like you said, I'm sure just an unbelievably competitive industry, probably more today than ever. So what is the process? I mean, how do you place talent? Like, how do you get a kid on a show or in a play?
We receive something called the breakdowns, which list all of the big film and TV things that you think about, that you see, and then we submit the kids pictures and resumes, and then casting lets us know, yes, we'd like to see this one, and then they send us sides, which are just the lines that they need to learn. And then I contact the parents and say, hey, I need this back by Wednesday at 5. And then they videotape it, and I go ahead and upload that audition and send it off to casting. And then if casting's interested, we go from there.
So do you ever watch the show Friends? Remember Friends?
I did, yes.
Remember Joey? Joey was an actor on Friends.
Yep.
And he had a talent. I can't remember her talent.
An agent?
I don't know. Yeah, he had an agent. He had an agent that was not a very good agent, and it was kind of funny how. So when you were talking about that, it kind of reminded me of some of those scenes on Friends. That agent kind of showed you everything an agent probably shouldn't do.
Right.
They brought that into the humor of it all. So yeah, I mean, so a lot of competition when you place these videos. You book auditions. There's a lot of auditions. There's a lot of actors.
Right.
And let's just stay focused on the kids for now. There's a lot of kids that end up, some director somewhere is watching a lot of film. They're watching a lot of film.
Correct.
So how do you separate your clients? What do you teach your clients to separate themselves from all that?
I quarterly, I bring in a really amazing acting coach, Josh Labar, that's out of Los Angeles. And he works with some of our talent quarterly. But getting good on-camera training, acting for the camera is very different than acting for the stage. And I want my kids to be competitive with the kids that are out in Los Angeles or New York in the bigger markets that are training regularly and going out there. So training's important. And then I've been teaching them to build relationships, to not just wait for me or someone to take a magic wand and bing them on the head and boom, they're on a TV show, but really figure out what it is they want in their career, what type of work they want, who's making those movies, who's making those TV shows, make a list, find out what they've done, then start reaching out for what they want. Don't just wait for something to come to you. We had one young man, and his parents really took the reins with this teaching, and he has followed up with a number of directors that he's done commercials with, and he's actually booked 2 additional commercials from 2 different directors, because he sent a card and brownies to say thank you so much for the opportunity. I really enjoyed working you in the past on X, Y, and Z, whatever commercial it was. And he actually had one of those directors say, I don't know who taught you how to do this, but that was really smart, and I'd like to have you back for my next commercial.
Wow. Well, that's cool. So obviously one way to separate yourself from all of the competition. So it sounds like when it comes to building relationships in this type of business, there's really 2 areas we're talking about. You as an agent are building relationships with people that you're trying to cast your clients with. Correct. And then you teach your clients to directly try to build rapport and create relationships with those same people. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
So tell me something about, let's talk about the agent right now. You're the agent.
Right.
What are the kind of things that you do to establish that relationship? Just any story you want to share with us. Just how do you establish that rapport with people?
Well, about 2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be introduced to a producer out in Los Angeles that's worked on things like Master Chef, America's Got Talent, things like that. And she's an amazing woman, just really lovely. And I had been, keeping in touch by email and things, but when I started using send out cards in July of last year, I started sending her little cards and notes for just touching base. I would see something on social media where something fun was happening in her life, or there was a birthday, and I would send her a card. I sent a holiday card. In January, I sent her a card because she had a show coming out on CBS, and she had put up some behind the scenes pictures. So I popped that in the card and sent it off. And then a month or 2 later, I have 2 talent that have written books that they wanted to be developed into some type of project. And so I thought, well, let me just shoot her an email and ask her a quick question. And she answered my questions, but at the end of it, she said, I really like that one woman, but I think my friend over at XYZ Network might be interested. Would you like me to connect you? To which I said, yes, indeed, because it is one of the big 3 networks, so that I did not have a connection to. And a week later, we had a meeting with the writer, the producers over at this network, and myself. And if you give me an inch, I will take a mile. So at the end of that meeting, I did say, gosh, thank you so much for talking with this person. I would really love to get to know more about what projects you have coming up, about you, what you're looking for, because I have folks all over the country that I would love to just get to know you better. And then a week later, she and I had a nice almost hour-long phone meeting, and I now have an open door to pitch anytime. And that came directly out of the cards, directly out of developing those relationships. And I sent her cards and brownies, to which she replied back She's like, oh my gosh, I may have eaten one right away. This is so sweet. You didn't need to do that. And I can't wait for our first project to work together.
Okay,
well, I
so
can tell you, Kody, no, neither can I. I can't wait till she and I are working together.
yeah, that's great. Okay, so cards, notes, and gifts. So what you're saying, yeah, I mean, obviously, talent agencies do all kinds of things to try to, move their product through, move the talent through. And you're saying, in fact, I've got some notes on here where you're saying the cards, the notes, and the gifts have actually been transformational for your
yes.
agency. Like it's like the numbers seem staggering. How
No,
since you've implemented this. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. No, I started in July and kind of was sending out a little bit, but didn't start really sending out a lot until end of October, November. And historically in my business, December and January are our slowest months fiscally, just because it's the holidays, and then January is recovering from the holidays financially. Well, all of a sudden December comes along and I've got a lot more money coming in than I usually do. And the December numbers were doubled from the previous year, and January's were tripled. And the only thing different that I was doing is building relationships with these cards. And I think the entertainment industry responds so well to it because a lot of people are very self-focused in the industry. So
Right.
they're always looking for, hey, who are you? What do you do? What is it? And when you actually reach out for no reason other than to say, oh my gosh, you look beautiful, or oh, congratulations, I see you have this coming out, and you're all about them and appreciating them and loving on them and just saying, God, you're great, this is awesome, or oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that your dog just died. I hate to hear that, and then some pictures, I've done that where I put pictures of their dog that they've had for a long time. And you would think you gave them $1 million.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about that too is, I think a lot of people are listening and saying, okay, well, Kat sends cards out to a casting director or whatever. Am I saying that right? Casting?
Yes, you are.
Oh, cool. So people are thinking, yeah, she sends these things out, and people's minds naturally shift to, well, what's she putting in the card? How is she promoting her agency?
No, it's all personal.
Yeah,
It's all
see, that's the key. You mentioned it in your
Yes.
story that it's all personal. I want you to speak to that because it's really important for our listeners to hear this, is that, these cards are not a collateral piece. It's not a brochure. It's not,
No.
This is something to create relationships. So yeah.
No, on the back, I always have my agency information on the back of the card. So that's there if they need it or want it. But the body of the card is all about them. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm looking at the long term here. I want to build a relationship. I want them to like me, because if they like me, they're going to call me. I'm not going to have to wait for something to come out on the breakdowns. They're going to call me ahead of time and say, hey, we've got this coming up. I'm going to do some pre-reads. I'd love to see your people. Who should I look at?
So because you're being genuine in creating
Yes.
human connection, or a genuine relationship, you end up naturally being top of mind for these people.
Yes.
So you are the call that, you're the person they call.
Yes.
You tell a story about a young 8-year-old actress that you booked this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Riley. Look for Riley Adams. She shot a new show. And oh my gosh, it's a very long title. It's On Becoming God in Central Florida. And she's got a recurring role on that. And I had been submitting to this casting director down in Louisiana for a long time, but my office is physically further from his. So he didn't always look at my submissions, I think, as closely. But I sent him, I think, 2 cards and some brownies again, the magic brownies.
Yeah.
And he, all of a sudden, he started requesting to see my talent a little more often. And Riley went in and auditioned, and he was casting this new show that George Clooney produced. And lo and behold, we put her on tape. She got a call back, and she shot in January and February of this year.
Wow,
So,
congratulations. That's a great story. And I know you have a lot of stories like that. I want to talk a little bit because you'd already mentioned this, that not only do you use this process and you use a service called Send Out Cards to help you with this process.
mm-hmm.
You do it, but you already mentioned that you also teach and coach your clients, your young actors, how to do the same thing.
Yes.
So could you share, like, how do you do that? Like, what do you teach them to do? And then maybe a story of, and you've already shared one story, but maybe what do you teach them to do? And then a story of someone that did it.
Right. Well, I teach them to get very specific about what they want. Get very proactive. Don't wait for, somebody to bang them on the head, and get the opportunities they want. Know what they want. Of course, if they're at the beginning of their career, they're going to accept whatever comes, but they don't have to act like that. They can grow their career. So find out say Steven Spielberg's my favorite director. I love everything he does. Okay, so let me learn more about Steven Spielberg. Let me do a little research on the internet, and let me dig around and find an address and write him a letter that says, hey, I loved this movie that you did. I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. I'm a young actor, living in, Des Moines, Iowa. And, I just wanted to tell you I'm a big fan, and I hope I get to work with you one day. And then I tell them to follow on social media after that initial one. So they do introduce that they are an actor. But then after that, watch social media for reasons to follow up. And I tell them don't do it more than maybe every 3 months or so, unless, they're nominated for something, or, it's their birthday, because they'll start to think they know you, or they've worked with you before, maybe even if they haven't. And I think, just like that director with Douglas and his family said, I thought that was so smart. That was so smart for you to send me that card, to send me those brownies. It made you stick out in my head again. And now I'm bringing you back because you were so smart.
Wow, this is incredible. So Catalyst, you're based out of, where are you based out of? So you are out of Kentucky now. The talent agency Catalyst. This is Kathleen McEntee, going by Kat. And so Kat, just what we like to do as we close out these shows is I like to give you the floor. I've asked you specific questions, you've answered them. I always like to end by giving you your own free time. We anything that you feel like our audience needs to hear, something unique that you might do in your business, or tidbits of advice that you could give people. Keep in mind, we're at the end of the day, we're trying to teach people how to be kind to each other. The byproduct of that is a relationship marketing system, but we're really just trying to teach people how to act on their promptings and be kind to other human beings. And you're incredible at that. Like I've seen you from a distance, seen how you implement not only the cards and the gifts, but a lot of different strategies to show kindness to people. And you're really good at that. So take the last 5 minutes or so and just give us some good old Kat stuff. Go ahead.
Thank you, Kody. I really appreciate that. I think my encouragement would be it's great for business, and it's done phenomenal things for my business, but use it personally. It's transformed my life personally as well. One of the things that I periodically do is I'll put up on Facebook, I'll say, if anybody would like, knows somebody who could use an encouraging word or is having a hard time, let me know and I'll send them a card. And I've sent out a number of those, but I actually, a month or two ago, actually got a response back from someone that I didn't really know. And she was having a very hard time. And she replied back that my card was a light in the darkness, and that it was a time where she, she didn't even know if she should still be here, and that things were turning around, and she's writing a book now, and she just really wanted to say thank you. And I was like, that is what it's all about. That's, we all have really hard times in life that happen, that sometimes just one kind word can make all the difference. And to have the privilege to be a part of that, to build better relationships with family and friends, oh my gosh, I am so grateful to you and to Jody and for everything that you've done and persevered, what the perseverance it takes to keep a business going. I mean, I think many people use the cards that way as well. And I think they've saved lives. I really do.
Wow. Well, there you have it, my friends. Kat, sure appreciate you. Appreciate your heart. Just appreciate your professionalism and the wonderful things that you're doing out there. So there you have it, my friends, from Englewood, Kentucky, owner and operator of the talent agency Catalyst, Kathleen McEntee. Thank you for being on our show today. Appreciate it very much. Look forward to seeing you at an upcoming event that we do. What's that?
I'm going to be visiting Utah in August.
Excellent. We have a big event in August. In fact, for all of our listeners, the part of that event that Kat's talking about is the Relationship Marketing Grand Summit. It is the first summit-related event that's designed specifically for relationship marketing, first ever. So Relationship Marketing Grand Summit, August 8th and 9th, Salt Lake City, Utah, 17 featured speakers, panelist of 5 professional business people. Over the course of 2 days, we're going to be teaching all kinds of principles on relationship marketing. Put it on your calendar. Go to, I believe it's relationshipmarketinggrandsummit.com. You can get all the information on that. And again, Kat, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in Salt Lake at that time. Yeah. And we'll log off for now. Make sure that you share this show with other people, especially those who are either in the talent agency business or maybe even have kids that want to get recognized. This is a great episode for you to learn a little bit more about that whole industry. So, Kat, thanks again. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Kody.
We'll see you all on another episode. Take care, everybody.
Bye now.
If you have enjoyed this episode of the Relationship Marketing Podcast with Kody B, be sure to subscribe to the show and leave a review so that together we can get this message, The Power of Human Connection, out to the world. You can find Kody's new book, The Power of Human Connection, on Amazon or the Send Out Cards gift store.